Good morning, Year 5. Welcome to Tuesday's maths lesson. What you will need for this lesson is a piece of paper, a pen or a pencil, and preferably a rubber. So let's get started.
Here is your starter task for today's lesson. It's a rounding task, and even though we're looking at division this week, it's really important that we remember how to round. So it says, I know so. If you know that 745 rounded to the nearest 10 is 750, that should help you work out the next 3 questions. So pause the video now and have a go at that starter task. In today's lesson, we are looking at calculating word problems using division. If you still feel a little bit wobbly on the basics of using the bus stop method, why don't you go back to Friday's lesson, remind yourself, and then you can come back to this lesson when you're ready. Here is your first worded problem. It says Tommy has 14 straws. He wants to make them into triangles. How many triangles can he make? Well, you will know that each triangle needs to have 3 straws. So pause the video now and tell me how many triangles he can make. Unpause it when you're ready. Did you get this answer? 14 divided by 3 is 4 remainder 2. We were able to make 4 triangles and we had 2 left over. Well done if you got that. Now it's a my turn question. Jack has 16 straws. He wants to make them into triangles. How many triangles can he make? Well, you know that to make a triangle you need 3 straws, so the calculation is 16 divided by 3. Again, you could do this in your head very easily. If you're still feeling a bit wobbly, then you could, of course, initially do it in a bus stop method. So we ask ourselves how many 3's go into 1? Well, we know we can't do it. Then that becomes how many 3's go into 16. So how many 3's go into 16? Let's see. What's the closest we get to 16? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, because 5 times 3 is 15. So 5. But we wanted to get to 16. So it would be 5 remainder 1. So what I've done here is I've read the worded problem and I've underlined the key bits of information. So it was 16 straws, and the other bit of information that was key was triangles, because we needed 3 straws to make a triangle. Let's have a go at one for ourselves. Okay, so this is a your turn question, or an our turn question. So the astronauts are divided into groups of 4, ready to board the rocket. How many rockets will be needed for 937 astronauts? So pause the video now and have a go. I've even created the jottings of the 4 times tables down the side. Pause the video, have a go, unpause them when you're ready for the answers. Okay, how many 4's go into 9? Well, what's the closest we can get to 9 without going past it? It would be 2, because 2 times 4 is 8, and we have 1 remainder. What's the closest we could get to 13 without going past it? Well, it would be 3, because 3 times 4 is 12, again, with 1 remaining, because we got to 12, but we wanted to get to 13. Now we are asking ourselves, how many 4's go into 17? Which is the closest we could get to 17? Well, I can see that 16, because we don't want to go past 17. So 1, 2, 3, 4. However, we wanted to get to 17 and we got to 16, so it would be remainder 1. So the answer, how many rockets will be needed for those astronauts? We've got here 234 remainder 1, but if you think about it in rockets, how many rockets do you think we need? Remember, we can't leave that remainder 1 behind. Okay. Now is your turn. I'd like you to pause the video and have a go at this. It says the astronauts are divided into groups of 3, ready to board the rocket. How many rockets will be needed for 956 astronauts? I've started with your jottings down here. Pause the video and have a go in your books, and then unpause me and I will come back with the answers. Okay, how many 3's go into 9? Well, you know that. 3. Oh, that doesn't look like a 3. How many 3's go into 5? What's the closest you could get? Well, it's going to be 1, isn't it? With a remainder of 2. Now I've noticed my jottings aren't going high enough. So what comes after 15? 18. And then we have 21. 24. 27, okay. Gone high enough now. What's the closest we can get to 26 without going past it? Well, it's going to be 24, isn't it? And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. However, we got to 24, we wanted to get to 26, so it would be remainder 2. Again, think about how many rockets will be needed. We can't just get rid of those remainder 2, so think about how many rockets. Okay, Chili 1, here are your first 2 questions. Pause the video now and have a go. Remember to underline the key vocabulary, which would be the numbers. I've even put the bus stop method there for you so that you can have a go. Don't forget to do your jottings as well. So Chili 1, pause the video now. And Chili 1, this is your final question. Could you create your own division word problem for a sibling or an adult to complete? Chili 2, you have 2 questions to start with. They are worded problems. All you need to do is read them and focus on the key information. So don't panic if you're overwhelmed with all the words, just focus on the numbers. What is the calculation that you need to do? You need to pause the video until you finish number 2 and then you can move on to the next question. And your final question, Chili 2, says, over 4 days, Liam runs 732 miles. On average, how many miles is this each day? Again, some of the words are trying to confuse you. Just focus on the numbers. What calculation are we going to do? Well, we know it's going to be division, and what are those 2 numbers? Pause the video now, Chili 2, for your final question. And Chili 3, you have 3 questions to complete. Number 2 is a create your own word problem for the calculation of 786 divided by 6 and then answer it. And number 3 is trial and error again, write a division which is 3 digits divided by 1 digit with a remainder of 7. So you could experiment with all the different numbers that you could create for the answer to have a remainder of 7. Pause the video now, Chili 3, because these are your questions. Now it's time for the answers. Go and grab a different colour pencil or pen and pause the video until you're ready for me to share the answers to your chilies. Chili 1, here are your answers. The answer to number 1 was 15, remainder 4. Again, when we're thinking about remainders, think about the question, how many rockets will be needed for 94 astronauts? Would we have 15 remainder 4 rockets, or would we need 16 rockets? And number 2, the answer was 91. Chili 2, your answers for number 1 were 107, and your answers for number 2 were 141. And for Chili 2, again, for your third question, the answer was 183. And your answers for Chili 3, number 1 was 1,278, remainder 4, and number 2 was 131. A reminder that I've set an arena session for you all in Year 5, and that has started on Monday, so yesterday, at 8 AM and ends Wednesday the 3rd of February at 3 PM. Good luck. I look forward to reading out the leaderboard.
Well done! Tuesday's lesson is complete. I will see you here again tomorrow for another lesson on division. Bye, Year 5.